The online SW community is full of chronically ill baddies. A lot of us decide to do this job because it works well around our chronic illnesses. We're our own bosses, so we don't have to worry about getting fired. But a lot of people don't realize that this can be very physically taxing and can cause even faster burnout if you don't take care of yourself properly and have some sort of preventative maintenance going on. Today, I am going to be talking about physical health. I want to talk about mental health, but I feel like it'll be so long. I feel like it'll be so long because I actually did film this already and it was like 40 minutes. So today we are going to be sticking to only physical health. And let's keep in mind that everything that I'm saying is very personal. There is some things that I would recommend to everybody, but if something I say wouldn't work for you and you know that, you don't need to get mad at me. Put the chompas away. I'm just trying to give my opinion. Make sure that you're listening to your doctor. Make sure that you're listening to your body. The first thing that I want to bring up is something that I don't see a lot of people talk about, and something that I didn't really think was going to be something that I needed to take into consideration, but it is eye health. I didn't realize how much looking at my screens, because when you're in this job, you're going to be looking at screens a fuck ton. I didn't realize how much looking at my screens was causing issues with my eyes. The main issue being lazy eyes. Now, I already had a bit of a lazy eye before I started this job, but there was one day where I was looking in the mirror and I backed up a little bit and I looked to the side and the other side and I was like, oh no, she's really spaced out there. And I realized it was because I was looking like so up close to my screens all the time, whether it be scrolling, looking for content ideas, or messaging with a customer, or like zooming in because I'm editing a photo and I want to make sure everything is perfect. Unless what you're wanting to go for is a very strong lazy eye, I suggest getting started on your eye exercises yesterday and make sure you're doing them consistently throughout this job. I also recommend holding your phone further away. Like everything else in your body, your eyes need to work out. They need to struggle a little bit. So I've started holding my phone further away, and it's kind of hard, but you know, I've gotten better. My lazy eye has gotten better, along with doing eye exercises. Now, I'm not gonna do them on here because I already look insane online, but I'll grab something like lip gloss. I'll use my own, the nail's missing on this one. I'll use my own nail. I'll use this one instead. I'll use my own nail and I'll focus at one center point of it, or the lip gloss, or I'll use a pencil. You focus on the center of it and you want to move it back and forth, side to side, around. Basically, you don't want to be looking straight forward the entire time. You want your eyes to be looking at your surroundings. You want to be doing those exercises. You can look some up. There's some apps for it. I don't necessarily like using the apps. One, because a lot of them you have to pay for, which I think is ridiculous, especially taking into consideration we have to subscribe to so many different apps to keep this job going. But I also think it's kind of dumb that the phone really kind of caused the issue and I'm gonna fix it with the phone. I don't know. I also had to cam completely faceless, headless in fact, for about 3 months because I got a really bad sty, and I have never had a sty in my life before that, and I've gotten a lot less now. I'm very clean. I take off my makeup every night. It's never been an issue. But when I went to my eye doctor, I was like, why is this happening to me? It was huge. You don't even want to see the pictures. It was nasty. But I asked him, I was like, why is this happening to me? And he said it's from looking at your screen. Your eyes get dry, etc., etc., etc. So make sure that you're taking care of your eyes. Make sure you're taking off your makeup at the end of the night. And I absolutely 100% positively, so deeply think that everyone should be investing in eye drops. They're really not too pricey. I don't get anything super expensive. I just like something that's going to get rid of the red eye and the dry eye. I actually recently learned that eye drops were poisonous, which I think is kind of cool. But I don't do anything dangerous with them. I just put them in my eyes first thing in the morning, sometimes midday, and definitely right before bed. Another thing that I've added on, but is also used as a super cute accessory, are my blue light glasses. I did not think I was going to like blue light glasses so much, but I have an entire collection of them now. I seriously do notice a difference in the eye strain that I had before versus now. And if glasses aren't your thing, there are blue light screens that you can put onto your laptop. I believe they also have some for the phones. But as someone who deals with chronic migraines, my eyes already feel like they're sunken in. They already feel heavy and hot and a sharp pain behind them if I'm doing something as simple as going to the movie theater, and then I end up with a migraine. So I definitely don't need to be dealing with that on a daily basis when this job is supposed to be somewhat making my life a little bit easier. So all of those I definitely recommend. Segueing into the next thing, but also still has a little bit to do with the eyes, you want to make sure that you're not overheating, and you want to make sure that your eyes aren't straining because of lights. For me, when I decided to jump full in, I was doing a lot of camming at the time, and the one light I was using was a lamp pointed directly at my face. Now you might be thinking, that's on you, that was stupid. But the lighting looked really, really good, and I didn't realize the full amount of strain that it was putting on my eyes, and I didn't realize how much it was overheating me until I switched to the softbox lighting. Instead of having your light beating directly at you, I definitely recommend putting it at an overhead instead. This is just gonna make you feel so much better. I sometimes feel like the brother from Better Call Saul. I feel crazy, but the Better Call Saul brother, where he's just allergic to electricity, anything electronic, batteries, anything powered like that. Sometimes I feel like that, but it really does genuinely make me feel sick at the end of the day. If I have a bunch of lights on me, if I'm like around a bunch of technology, I don't know, call me crazy. If you do have a bright light that's your only option right now, totally get it. If you can't replace it, that's fine. If you have a fan though that you can keep nearby that can be kind of semi-quiet but blowing some air at you to kind of combat that heat, that can be something that could help cool you down for the time being. So for me personally, I have a lot of problems. But the two things that cause my day-to-day to be a little bit more difficult are the fact that I was in several car accidents. I had several concussions for many different reasons over the years. I was never the one driving. I can drive great. And I also have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. I'm always in some degree of pain. I've gotten to a point where I'm not in a wheelchair anymore. I used to be when I was younger, but sometimes I do still have to wear braces. Sometimes I do wake up and I'm randomly dislocated somewhere, constantly dealing with subluxations and issues in my spine, neck, and all down my back area. Don't even get me started on the tailbone. That shit sucks. If that's something that you deal with or similar, do not fret. There's some days for sure where I'm like, there's no work happening today. Like, it's just, I'm gonna be bedridden and maybe I'll just stick to texting. But for the days where I'm like, okay, this is manageable somewhat, I don't worry about going online and wearing my thick Velcro crazy braces. There are people who will actually pay you to put those on when you're not in pain. There are people who pay me to use my crutches that I haven't used in forever. One of the things that I do admire about men, but also scares me a little bit, is the fact that they will make it work with whatever state you're in. I have gone online with double knee braces and a wrist brace, looking thrashed. And I was like, there is no way anyone's gonna come in here and if anything, they're gonna like pity me or whatever. No, they still wanted to see me bent up like a pretzel. And I didn't push myself, but I still absolutely made money that day, and I didn't push myself again. I didn't go crazy. I don't really live stream like that anymore, but back when I did, if I was dealing with a problem like that and there wasn't a lot of mobility happening, you could stick to just doing JOI shows. You can stick to dirty talk shows. You can do storytelling that's really sexy. You can do rating contests. There are so many options. And if someone is begging and pleading for you to do something, they're just gonna have to wait. Don't press yourself. Another thing that I deal with is I first off deal with a lot of like spider veins or like varicose veins. They're really annoying. It's just genetics. And I'm also a really dizzy girl. So one thing that helps me is compression socks. And the thing about compression socks is, again, these men, they look, it's like it just goes straight over their head. I genuinely don't think half of them at least knew that I was wearing compression socks. I think that they thought I was wearing knee highs. So don't be afraid to wear your compression socks. If you're someone who thinks that you would benefit from wearing those, don't let that deter you from wearing them online, especially if you're someone who knows how to sew. I don't know how to sew, but I can think of a million cute designs that could go on like the very top of a compression sock, or like even like writing something sexy on the side of it. Just an idea. I also really like my vibration plate. Now, this is something that you actually can do online, and I can see it doing well. I haven't seen it, but I don't doubt that someone has done it before. I've even thought about doing it before. A lot of people think the vibration plate is very like woo-woo, but for me, if I buy something and I see it online and it doesn't convince me within the first 3 times of using it, over it. I will talk shit about it till the end of time. But if I really love something, I'm gonna recommend it to everyone who I think could benefit from it. Now, again, talk to your doctors, blah, blah, blah. That's probably gonna be the last time that I say that. I love my vibration plate. The first 3 to 5 times you use it, and if you like stop using it and start up again, you will get really, really, really itchy. I would compare this itchiness to, if you've ever had like lipo, it's that like internal itchiness where it's just kind of everywhere. The thing that fixes it really fast though is putting your legs up. I like to put my legs up and just like dry brush. The vibration plate for me, I like to do it first thing in the morning or last thing at night, if not both. It wakes me up, it makes me energized, it gets the blood flowing without me having to work out, because every single time that I work out, I just tend to hurt myself. So it's either walking or maybe some light yoga, and even then something will pop out of place. But the vibration plate gets me moving, it gets me going, it gets my energy up, it gets my blood flow going, and I think it's made a difference in the sense of cellulite, and I think it's made a difference in the sense of combating spider veins. So just a little side note there. I am also someone who deals with hip pain. My hips, do not lie, they just hurt all the time. I was fortunate enough to have one of my subs gift me a really nice, I think it's a Dowings chair or Doywings. I don't know, there's another dot in the W for some reason, but I'm gonna call it Dowings chair. I really like it because I feel like people with Ehlers-Danlos or people who are hypermobile, they tend to sit in really funky positions, like both legs to the side, like knees up to the chest, anything like that. And that chair has been really comfortable. It only recently started ripping, but to be fair, it's because I sit crazy. I do think if I got like one of those seat cushions that are, you know, like a nice cool gel and put that on top of it, I wouldn't have had to deal with the chair, you know, ripping. But for me, doing that as long as I was, and it just now recently started tearing at the chair, pretty good. It also has that little pull out thing where you can pull it out, flip it, and put your feet up. So that kind of helped me when I started getting restless legs. I didn't have to get up and move completely. Sometimes I would have to, but most of the times I would be fine just like putting my feet up. I like how wide it is. I can appreciate that. If you're someone who's going to be sitting on your bed, you can absolutely find two cheapy little pillows, side pillows, anything like that. And when you're sitting on your bed, put the pillows on the sides underneath where you think you're going to have your hips, and put your blanket on top, and no one's gonna question what's underneath your bed. And if they do, you can just say they're pillows. Like, who gives a fuck? You can be hot and be supported at the same time. I don't know about you, but for me, if I'm cold, I just get actually frozen. Like, I will not work as well as I would if I'm at a normal temperature. There's a couple of different options here depending on if you're going live or taking calls or if you're making content. One of the things that I haven't done, but I think would be a totally good idea, is those skin tone thermal type leggings. You can put those underneath any outfit. You can make TikToks in them. You can make clips in them. Obviously, they're gonna look better with some sort of clothing on, like some booty shorts or a little dress. But if you need to film but wear something sexy, I feel like those could totally work for you. For me, I hate layering so bad. I am just the epitome of a California girl. I can't do it. I have the flip-flop tan to prove it. It's heinous. I don't like having too much stuff on me, but if I'm cold, I'm suffering. So for me, I finally invested in a thick robe. I can't believe I didn't have a robe for so long, but a nice thick, you know, think of mom on Christmas morning robe. You're bundled up. I just throw that on my bed, and then when I come over here to film something, I will get a little bit warmer over time, but using that robe in the meantime, perfect. I was talking about this the other day with my friend, but one of the best things that you can do is putting a heated blanket or a heating pad underneath your blanket. No one will be able to tell. There are so many things you can hide underneath your blanket. It's amazing. But if you're cold or if you're dealing with cramping and just need some sort of warmth happening, putting that heating pad underneath there can be so pleasant. I'm gonna try not to make this one too long, but I can talk about it forever. One of the things that really helped me both mentally and physically was making 3 different types of energy days. Basically, I have 3 types of energy days. My first energy day is low, and then mid, and then high. Again, this is going to be different for everybody because some people are parents, some people have another type of job. Again, take what applies and leave what doesn't, but I hope that you can get something out of this. But for me, I sit down, I take a fucking breath, I take a moment, I sit down, and I put low, mid, high. And right next to them, I think about, okay, the worst possible day, but still somewhat I'm wanting to get some work done. What can I get done? And I don't sugarcoat it. I don't make it like, oh, I'll try and get like A, B, and C done when I totally can't do A, B, and C. Sometimes I can just do A. So A, I will do. A, I will write down. For me, on my low energy days, just so you have something to go off of, I'm not gonna get online. I'm not gonna take any calls. My low energy days can consist of maybe doing voice notes for people, can include using my drip sets and messaging back and forth with people, and sometimes if that's too much, I'll just work on flyers. I'll work on scheduling out my posts for later. It is really, really simple. Those are for my days where I have a really bad dislocation or really bad back pain where every time I breathe, my whole body cinches up and feels like an awful pinching. Sometimes it's days where I'm ridiculously nauseous for no reason and I can't really look at my phone much. At the end of the day, you know your body best, especially if you're someone who is chronically ill. You're painfully aware of your body, most likely. So don't sugarcoat it. Really sit down and think, what is the bare minimum of what I can do for work while still setting myself somewhat ahead? Write that down. Mid-energy days, those are gonna be like your average day, okay? It's, you know, I'm capable of doing work. Do I want to go above and beyond? Probably not. Am I gonna put on makeup? Maybe just mascara. For my mid-energy days, I'll probably do something like, I won't go live, but I will have Sex Panther on in the background. And sometimes I'll have an hour of turning calls on, sometimes I'll have an hour of turning calls off, and just switching that back and forth. Maybe I'll take 3 simple pictures without even having my face in it. I can definitely text with some people. Maybe I decided that, okay, I need to absolutely do a pedicure today. So I will set my camera up at foot angle and I will paint my toes. Very low key, very simple, nothing crazy, but your average day, how you feel on the average. Think about that and think of, okay, I need to get stuff done. I definitely want to make money. What am I capable of doing? For your high energy days, those are gonna be the days where you feel like a fucking freak. You are getting shit done. You're scheduling shit out. Now be careful with this one because you don't want to hurt yourself. I definitely have my days where I do 8 hours to 12 hours of work and I end up cleaning my entire apartment afterwards. I mean, I'm talking about scrubbing everything down with bleach and then inhaling too much and feeling I'm gonna pass out. And then the next day I'm like, I can barely move. Don't go that far. Don't do that. But write down a list of things that you're like, okay, the days that I want to go above and beyond, maybe I do want to make a video where I have to have a lot of props in the background, or I have to dress up for it, or wear tight clothing. I know for me, I'm not wearing tight clothing unless I'm at a day where I'm like, yeah, this is absolutely happening. Like, let's do it. Especially something like latex, don't even get me started. But that's basically the premise of it. I like to write that stuff down, and especially if I'm dealing with like my period or something. There's some better days and some worse days, but I don't exactly schedule things out because you never know how you're gonna feel, especially if you're someone who's chronically ill. You're just gonna wake up and know how you feel for the day. Sometimes it hits an hour later. But it's really nice to have a schedule that you can look at and be like, okay, yep, nope, I'm right here, and just do the best that you can. I just really like that because before I would just completely disappear for sometimes 2 weeks at a time, which some people could say is dramatic, but it's my pain, it's what I deal with, and sometimes it's really overwhelming. And when you're hurting, you're not gonna be able to think it straight. So you don't have to schedule it out, but have that list, set it aside, make sure it's in eyes view so you don't forget about it, and you can still get shit done. You have to fuel your body. Yes, you heard it here first. This is one of my favorite things to talk about because I love food. I have not had the healthiest relationship when it comes to food in the past, but we are much healthier now. This is my basket. She's looking large. Usually she's a bit more full. We need to do a light restock. Basically, I have days sometimes where my ADHD will make it so if I leave the room, I'm not coming back in the room. I'm not finishing work. Now, it's important to leave your room, of course, you know, leave the room, leave your home, go touch grass, please. But if you're anything like me, you're gonna want snacks, you're gonna want a setup, you're gonna want sustenance without getting too distracted and without having to make a full-blown meal and making yourself tired. So I have my little basket. In my basket, I keep a couple of different things. We are going to keep a ton of water bottles in here. So many water bottles. I keep ondansetron, Zofran in here because I get nauseous all the time. For what reason? Don't know. I keep floss in here. I know it would make more sense to have it in my bathroom, but since this is my work bathroom, I don't exactly keep all the essentials in here. It's more so like vanity stuff, and I know some people could say, oh, that's vanity, but this is my life. I'm doing what I want. I keep my floss in the basket. These ones I think are super cool. I just recently tried them out for the first time. They are gripper flosses. I have a hard time flossing with string, and my teeth are fucked due to genetics and also Ehlers-Danlos. I take great care of my teeth, but they want to fall apart on me anyway, and they hurt. But flossing is important, and these have been really cool to use. I really like them. I suggest them. I also recently started doing liquid IV. I didn't think it would make that much of a difference. Holy shit. I just looked straight into that light. There goes the eye health portion of this video. Ow. Okay. I can never go back to not drinking liquid IV. I mean, there might be something better, but I can't downgrade back to just like regular water. That's just not gonna work for me. Staying hydrated is extremely important, and for a while I was just putting salt into my water, and that did definitely make me feel better. Again, consult the doctor, blah blah blah. But having real hydration has made a huge difference in my energy, in the amount of hours that I worked. When I tell you, I'm so dead serious. I work 8 to 12 hours a day. I'm trying to change that. It is what it is. But before, when I would work those long shifts, I would be in the beating lights, I would be sitting in my chair in one position and just getting up to like shake my ass, and I would be like rattling my shit around. I was taking care of my body for the most part, but I, at the end of the day, would find myself hauling my body across the other side of my house and just going from one room to the next and feeling like shit. I was so grumpy, and I would breathe so much heavier. There's a couple of things that I've changed obviously within that time, but the hydrating is like crazy. Electrolytes, do that shit immediately. I also like to keep a fuck ton of Tylenol in this little baggie. This is not a mysterious pill, YouTube. It is just Tylenol, along with a couple of different tea bags. I don't drink soda. If I do, it's very, very rarely, and I'm not gonna finish it. I get migraines from it. Unfortunately, nectar of the gods, not for me. But I'll keep a couple of tea bags in here so I don't have to think about heating up the water and throwing in the tea, blah, 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 before coming in my room. I can start work sooner. But I do have my papaya enzymes. Now, with these, I haven't seen a fantastic difference with them, but I do like taking them. I see a little bit of a difference. They're enzyme complexes. Digestion is very important. I also keep plasticware in here. I know plastic isn't amazing for the planet, but sometimes I just throw a couple in here because I don't want to have to get up. And I hate, I'm like, I have to crack my knuckles just thinking about it. I hate the sound of metal scratching against other things, and if I even think about it coming near my desk or my laptop keyboard, oh my god, it's making my teeth hurt. I can't talk about it. It's horrible. I do have exactly 1 Celsius in here. When I drink a Celsius, I'm not even kidding, I drink it maybe to here. And I save these for if I'm doing a night stream or a collab, so hence 1. When this is properly filled, I also like to have chip bags in here. I like to have peanut butter crackers or cut up apples. Obviously, like, I will take it out of the fridge and then put it in here. I'm not gonna have it like 24/7 out. A sandwich in there. I personally try to make sure that I have every kind of like food group best I can in there. You gotta have a carb. You gotta have something salty, you gotta have something sweet. Again, I'm not your doctor, so don't take that completely like too hard. But personally, that's what I need. So again, a lot of this is sitting down, taking a moment with yourself, thinking, what do I like to eat? How do I like to get my hydration? And sort out what you would need for the upcoming week of work. Add that into your grocery list. And just to finish that portion off, it's okay to eat. It's important to eat. I've had my own personal struggles with food, but you will notice and your customers will notice, and of course your health is more important, so like fuck the customers at the end of the day. Don't actually fuck the customers. But you will notice in your work ethic, you will notice in your energy, you will know in your videos if you're not looking too good. And you're not going to be able to get anything done if your body isn't fueled properly. So please fuel your body. It is a working engine. Second to last thing here, but one thing I heard on TikTok, I don't even know how long ago, I don't know who said it, but basically they were saying, I like to do things for my future self. And for me, that just stuck with me. There's certain things that I hear and I'm like, man, this has like changed my life for the better. That was absolutely one of them. I am someone who, when something is done for me, I'm so deeply appreciative of it. but doing things for myself, one, being the boss of myself, I'm not a great employee. And when it comes to spoiling myself and taking care of myself, I'm not fantastic at it. I love it, but I'm not fantastic at it. And I definitely tend to procrastinate, and that's like a little bit of a problem. So it kind of makes it, when I say doing something for my future self, it seems like someone else. It doesn't really seem like me in the now. And later, once I have done that thing, future me, I will literally sit there and I'll be like, okay, I'll have prepped something. I'll be like, oh, thank you, past self. Like, I will say that either out loud or in my head. I don't care how crazy I look. But it really has made a difference for me, especially because, you know, I have a little bit of a praise kink. I don't like the stuff where it's like good girl. Not a big fan of that. But if someone's telling me I'm doing a good job, or like really grateful for something that I've done, or saying that I'm really good at something, perfect. So some examples of me doing things for my future self, you know, you could come up with your own, but at the end of the day, usually I'm pretty tired, but if I'm not completely depleted, I know there's things I'm capable of getting done. It could be as simple as just putting my notebooks away. It can be something as simple as laying out my laundry to do later on and making it easier on myself. I don't have to do everything. I don't need to clean up my entire room that looks like a hurricane went through it. I can just make life easier for my future self. So before I wash my face, or after I'm done putting my tretinoin on, but I'm waiting to layer it, so I need it to dry down, I can go through and put all my makeup into one bag. It doesn't need to be crazy organized. I can make sure all my dishes are out of here. I can put my binders away. I can prop the pillows up and make the bed, which is not very difficult because I don't have like blankets on there. I just have comforter. I can wipe off the counter. Simple, easy things that just make it a little bit more clean than it was before. And doing things for your future self is very important, because the cleaner environment you come into the next day, the easier it is for you to get into work. Especially, again, since, you know, chronic illness is something that I deal with. I feel like when I have less to do, that's less strain on my body. That's more time I have to put towards actually making money. That will lead into the last thing, which I'm going to talk about, which is the nighttime routine. And it makes me kind of want to talk about the morning routine, but I guess I'll save that for another time. With all that being said, I don't work nights like crazy. I will do it once in a blue moon. Some people are built for nights. I am not. And of course, if I could change that, I wish I could, because nights can be fantastic. But I do want to just throw in there, just like a little side comment, you can make money during the day. You don't have to uproot your body's schedule or your sleep schedule or what makes you comfortable and like completely switch it just because you see that another person is making good money online at a certain time. 90% of my working time online, whether it be live or taking calls or on OnlyFans, it has been during the day. My cutoff time is usually 4 p.m. PST. I'm an early bird, if anything. And I've had up to a $15,000 day. I haven't been able to beat that yet, but it was possible, and it was during the daytime. So I just wanted to throw that out there, that you don't need to work nights. You don't need to make your body uncomfortable. Okay, so night routine. I can make a very extensive routine, but there are some things that help me, especially because like sometimes I have a hard time sleeping. I love sleep and I have chronic fatigue, but there are times where I deal with waking up on the dot every single hour, or I have a difficulty going back to sleep after I wake up in the middle of the night. These are some investments that I've made. There's things that I've liked, there's things that I've loved, there's things that I've hated. But since sleep is so important and it really sets you up for the next day, I feel like this list is something worth looking into if you're someone who needs to focus more on getting good sleep. Blackout curtains. Blackout curtains. So nice. Before I had blackout curtains, I just put extra blankets up in front of my window. I'm definitely not the fanciest person in the world. Right now I have sheer curtains in front of the window of my workroom. And then over that, I literally have one of those thick, fuzzy blankets from Ross right on top of it with thumbtacks. Is it the fanciest in the world? No. Am I currently using that because I'm getting too chilly and my windows don't have proper insulation? Yes. Did I also do that to my bedroom to keep it dark when I would go to sleep at night? Yes. Did it work? Absolutely. I also finally invested in a nice pillow. Again, I have a lot of issues in my neck, trap, shoulders, needed to blah, 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 blah. I could go on, but like mostly my upper body area. I didn't realize how much my sleeping position was really adding on to that. I deal with a lot less kinks in my necks in the morning, a little bit less migraines, staying asleep a little bit longer, waking up less in the middle of the night. And I'm not so much waking up like shoulders immediately to the ears. My shoulders are very high all the time. I think they should be much, much lower, but I'm always in fight or flight anyway, so it's fine. I also like to use my blue light glasses to watch TV if I'm gonna watch that before bed or be on my phone before bed. Oh, and if you can get your pillow to be one of those cooling ones, so nice. I've also personally enjoyed the magnesium train. I started taking a magnesium mix. I think it was like glycinate, nitrate, something like that. I'll have to find it and maybe I'll link it if anyone wants it. I started taking that originally because I started getting panic attacks out of nowhere. It was a whole thing. And I'm just someone who, since I've taken so much medication and so heavily of medication the majority of my life, I wanted to try and go a natural route. That magnesium mix is something that I tried out and it actually helped a lot. I did end up getting on medication for like a month, but I feel like the mix of both, I was able to get off of that medication and stick to just the magnesium mix. But taking that, I feel like has helped my sleep. There's also a spray magnesium that you can spray on the bottom of your feet or on your legs. It can be a little bit itchy and irritating, but from the reviews that I've seen online, what I do is if I spray it and it's uncomfortable, then I just like rinse it off and then go to bed, but it still has the benefits. There's also some people who do things like getting themselves a hatch, or they'll play ASMR in the background. For me, I would usually prefer silence, but with the changes I've had with anxiety and my current living space with very loud neighbors, I can't really have that. So I like to put on white noise, green noise in the background. I don't know if they're the proper noises at all, but if I'm not feeling that and that's making me a little bit anxious, sometimes I just like to do rain sounds. It's simple, you know, just stuff on YouTube. I also really like using my red light and my vibration plate before bed. Another woo-woo thing, but red light, seriously, one of the best things I could have ever done for myself. It has made a difference in my skin. It has made a difference in my anxiety, in my sleep. The only thing that I regret about red light therapy is not doing it more often. But I like to get on my vibration plate before bed 5 to 10 minutes, nothing crazy. The most I can go on my machine is 15, but just a simple little jiggle. Get all the tension out, get into bed, put on my red light therapy. I have a red light therapy stand and it just like, I just put it right on my face and I have a timer for it. I set it and I fall asleep so fast. I'm also really liking the Trader Joe's Well Rested herbal tea. I didn't think I would like it so much. I'm kind of picky with my teas, but it is so fucking good. And for me, since I don't want to have to wake up to go pee in the middle of the night, I'll just put half the amount of water that I usually would for my morning tea. But before bed, really what you want to do is try to regulate your nervous system best you can. Hang out with people that you love, pet your puppies, pet your kitties. Try not to stress yourself out any further, best you can. Life is life, but you know. And try to rinse off the day, you know, shower, take off the makeup, make sure you're taking off your makeup. And all of that stuff I hope would make it easier for you to have a better work day. And hopefully taking all of that stuff in consideration, you could have a better work day the next day. And the next day, and the next day. But I hope that you got something out of this. I know this is really long, but trust me, it was even longer when I tried to put mental health into it. So that's gonna be another video. But if you liked it, you can like it. And if you like me, then you can follow me. But I'm really enjoying putting these out. I know that I'm not the most organized or well-spoken person in the world, but I hope that these kind of feel like a little bit of a kiki, and I hope that you're getting some sort of advice that you haven't heard yet. And sometimes it's good to get a reminder of something, so, you know. But I'll leave you to it. Please take care of your bodies. At the end of the day, we are the product. Most companies, the things that they're selling, they can mass produce. But with us, it's just one of us. And you only have one body, so you gotta take care of it. And that's all I have to say about that. So I'm gonna yap at you more in the next video. Bye!